Hello, Attactioneers. Welcome to the Attack Action Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor the Heavy Morrow.
And I'm your host, Zayne the Taylor Johnson. That is actually my middle name for anyone.
Yeah, the Taylor.
Curious.
Yeah. That's crazy. So welcome to the cast once again, Zayne. You're here now. You're part of the team. Welcome. Now, in true Attack Action Podcast lore, you're now fated to probably like win some sort of big tournament or something the next thing you go to. So congratulations.
I sure hope so. That'd be great. Yeah. Glad to be a part of the team. And glad to be doing a set review. I love these.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you're the right man for this job. I'm going to adjust my microphone so it's less in my way. So this is our Heavy Hitters set review. We're going to vamp for a brief moment and then just get right into it because we got a lot to talk about. So, Zayne, you are personal best friends with Yuki Lee Bender.
Sure am.
She just went on a rampage. Tell us about that rampage, because I'm sure you were just like Snapchatting her all day.
Well,
Yas
the
queen,
whole team.
slay queen, you got it, etc.
So the lesser known name, but Nia Tran, also on basically the same deck, who's also on the team, got to the semis and then had like kind of an unfortunate judge call. Not to like say he would have won or lost that game based on that, but potentially the finals of the Battle Hardened was going to be two team Stroop Waffle members on the same essentially KO deck, which has been kind of a joke in the Discord of like, you know, I guess we're playing Brute. Like it just kind of feels like boost dash, and like Nia like doesn't like Brute, and but it's fast. It blocks better than people think it does. It has some interesting cards, and I don't think people had really realized kind of the ceiling of Cast Bones and like its ability to help you get over fatigue. And so yeah, they just went on a rampage. The deck was 19-2. I guess there's subtle differences between the two decks, but Yuki went 11-0, I think it is, and then Nia went 8-2, losing in the semis. So
11-0 is just nuts.
Yeah, crazy. But
that's crazy.
Yuki's obviously insane. You know, no surprise. She wins on whatever deck she wants. She was between multiple decks going into the day, had kind of a bad sealed pool and a frustrating calling, so chose the right deck. The right deck for sure.
That's fun. Having traveled with Yuki, sometimes she will bring a number of decks and kind of like walk around, prowl, I think is the right word, and scope her prey and then kind of pick absolute last minute. So
yeah, which it's a pretty reasonable thing to do. I think she was high on Victor too, and like was just wanting to play one of the new decks and landed on KO, which was a very good choice.
Very cool. Yeah, Savage Feats, they just put out a like KO class, which was pretty funny. I didn't get through all of it, but it was hilarious. It was a good vibe.
I haven't watched it yet, but I did see that come up in my YouTube recommended today.
Welcome to Value School, bitch, or something like that. It was great. It was good.
It is the new math deck. Like if it's the numbers deck, it's Stubify. No, it's like not Stubify speed, but like where it's like just the math of this deck is kind of hard to match.
Now, how do you feel about the instant success of Heavy Hitters in the classic constructed format? Just briefly before we dive back into limited in our set review here.
Yeah, I think it's welcome. I think there's been a sentiment that like the sets have been not as impactful as they used to be, which obviously there's just like a kind of funny dichotomy of Monarch, Tails, Everfest just like slamming the most powerful heroes we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then like kind of a step back, like obviously Outsiders kind of give us, I mean, the Uprising heroes were very strong as well. And then we have Outsiders that make Select C kind of at that level. And then we have a couple sets where the heroes don't immediately just dominate the meta, which ultimately is a good thing. But there's this sentiment that like, oh, the new sets don't even matter, like whatever, like Dusk Till Dawn had no impact, which is not true. But there's some truth to it. And then Bright Lights, you know, Dash more or less takes one or two cards from that. So I'm glad that we're seeing a set of impact. We'll see if it's like too much.
Right.
I don't think so. I think that there's some cards that are pretty pushed, but like they should be. They're, every set should have something that changes the class identity a little bit, gives us a little more tools, and I think we've seen that with this set.
Yeah, I was thinking about it today, and I think normally I'm like, man, come on. Why does the new set always have to have just like some busted ass shit in it? Come on, man.
But not every set has.
And then we've been at this like kind of, you touched on it, this not a low point, but a less impactful point from like new sets. And so I'm like welcomed this like, oh yeah, shake it up, baby. Give it to me. Like, let's go. Let's have some new shit happen. So I'm psyched. And if it's like, well, no, I'm misspeaking here. I'm excited for a brand new meta and new things to attack and solve and that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Totally. And we see with that battle hardened, like they're not taking over, right? Like 3 of the 8 heroes are new heroes, and then let's see, like 6 of the 8 are the classes that are supported. So that's, maybe a little much, but these are classes that were already powerful with, Guardian. Guardian's going to take 2 spots of every top 8 for till the end of time.
And there's always like a period of like, okay, here's the best deck, in quotations. We're not saying KO is, it could be, you never know. Could be Victor, could be this unheard of Betsy deck that nobody's found yet, etc. But it's like once that is widely adopted, then people can widely target it, and then so it takes time. So if you're at home on your couch ready to flip out because you're like, game's broken hero right away, just chill. It's so early.
Yeah.
It's so
too early. Way too early.
Yeah.
KO's good. KO's real good, but he's not unbeatable.
Yeah. He's only got one arm. That's all he needs, though.
He's only got one arm, but his armor is something else.
Yeah, totally. He's just like fridged up. Boys padded up. Okay. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we get into the set review here, sir?
Also, a quick shout out to Ellie, also on the team, for top 8 the calling, the limited calling. Just a crazy showing, so congrats to her.
Hell yeah. Love that. Great job, everybody. Great shout outs. Okay, so set review. So here we go. So we're using a 1 through 5 star system rating. Yep. 1 being tear it up, throw it away. It's terrible. 5 being best card in the set. Draft this, you will win. We're thinking V of the Vanguard, Dread Scythe, Winter's Wail.
Soul Reaping.
Yeah, just like absolute
Voltaire.
Cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, Voltaire. Yeah, okay, etc. And then your 4's way super good. You would love to draft 1 million of those, but probably can't because everybody's pick oneing them. 3 is you would like to have probably the majority of your deck be 3s. And then 2s are maybe niche, but really don't want any of those.
Yep.
Or a high density of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Could be good, but only in these weird situations.
Mm-hmm.
And so Zayne has his ratings and I have my ratings, and then we'll compare notes as we go down. So we're just going to start off right at the top with a ball breaker. So I'll read that aloud. So ball breaker is a brute weapon, one-handed, once per turn action, cost 2 to attack. And if you discarded a card with 6 or more power, it gets +1. So then it's a 2 for 4 rather than a 2 for 3. So I just gave this bad boy 3 stars.
And I gave this 4 stars.
Nice. Tell me why.
I think that this can have a big impact on actually how you play the game and change a little bit of what you want. But I think that this is very playable in both brutes. I think it's insane in Rhinar, but even very good in KO, as you can buff it with the windups or play it after something with agility. It's pretty reliable to get it to 4, and it's also not often that reliable to claw or to attack, claw, and then do something else.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times your claw is the end of your turn. So just having the upside of that 3 being able to be 4 sometimes is very strong.
Totally. I could agree with that. I just gave it a 3 because I don't know if I would pack one, pick one, but I certainly would, if it kind of came around, pick 3, 4, I would swoop it up for sure.
Yeah. I would say it's a weak pack one, pick one, but it's like it's in the conversation. Like if the pack's weak, then I'm taking it.
Cool. Awesome. Here we go. Next card.
Right. Next up, we got Mini Meat Axe. Kind of follows the same template. 2 costs, attacks for 3, and its text is when this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. No effect after that. So similar to Ravenous Meat Axe from Monarch, but that obviously 2-handed and gets a buff. I gave this 2 stars. I'm just not sure really why you would want this outside of Fringe, Rhinar, or Intimidate.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of my feeling as well. 2 stars. I don't know if it's going to be better than a Claw or the Ball Breaker. And if I'm going to spend my 2 resources on like a chance to intimidate their last card, I could just have a card that attacks for more rather than a weapon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just pretty narrow. Like it has a use. I feel like it should probably buff itself or do something, but it's okay.
Totally. Here we go. Next up is the KO Specialization Brute Equipment Headpiece. It has action. Destroy this. Roll a 6-sided die. Oh, yeah. It's called Knucklehead. Until the end of your turn, your base intellect is the number rolled. And it has Temper 2. So you're going to roll a die and then get that level of intellect. I actually gave this 3 stars just because it blocks for 2, Temper 2. And when a set has so many block for 2s, it's really nice to have something that's on your armor that you could get 3 value out of. So gave it 3 stars.
Okay, so this will cause a little note. When I went through the first time, I had very few 5s and literally no 1s. So I went back and kind of adjusted some scales. So I actually gave Knucklehead a 5.
Oh.
And again, this card is blank 99.9% of the games, but it is 3 life plus. It's more than 3 life really when you consider like the wagering. And I think that this card is a reason to be KO. Like that is a lot of armor. Non-contextual armor doesn't require anything to have happened. I think it's very powerful.
Okay, sweet. Nice. Love it.
All right, next up we got Monstrous Veil. This is the Rhinar spec. It has an action that says destroy this, draw a card, discard a random card, which is similar to Skullhorn. And then it has Battle Worn 1. I gave this 4 stars. I do think it's notably worse than Knucklehead, but it's still very powerful and can help you end games sooner than your opponent may think that you are able to.
Yeah, it's a great point. I gave it 3 stars. It's great because it has the Battle Worn, so you can use it and then use its ability later. So that's like really, really powerful. But sometimes in draft, you might not have like the right setup to be able to use it, even though you are that hero. So maybe it's because of my lack of knowledge or skill with brute type heroes that maybe gives you this a little bit less, but we're going with 3. Just totally fine. Average, not average, but above average card.
Strong. There's a lot of headpieces, so that's fair. There's other ones you could get.
Totally. Next up, we have Raw Meat Brute Chest Equipment. It blocks for 0, but it has Temper. And then it says, if you control an agility token, it gets +1. If you control a might token, it also gets +1 defense. I give this 3 stars as well. I think it's pretty good. It's not it's pretty common. You have both of those tokens. Like that's what the whole set is based on, is the having those tokens, etc. Just the tokens in the set. So I gave it 3 stars. It's going to block 2 at some point. It's pretty good.
Yeah, totally. I gave it a 4. I think of the token generation like KO, who is kind of the premier brute in limited, is very good at creating might.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do is create agility twice, and you're getting 3 value out of this, which, as we talked about with Knucklehead, is very good.
Yep.
Knucklehead obviously is a little more flexible, so it has a higher score, but I think raw meat is very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe I gave it a little low rating, but I just also feel like sometimes when you're against the brutes, the games don't go on as long sometimes, so you have less opportunities. Anyway,
I think the first time you are able to get the 3 block out of it and then kind of like build what you're doing to like make that happen, you start to see like, oh my gosh, this is actually kind of nuts. Yeah,
totally fair.
All right, next up we got Send Packing. This is the yellow brute CNC-ish. It's 3 for 6, blocks 3, and then when it attacks, it banishes the card in their arsenal, and then if you don't hit, they get the card back. I gave this a 4. I think obviously this is majestic, won't show up in every pod, but I think if you see this, it's very powerful. There's a lot of 2 blocks in the set. Very likely your opponent doesn't have, 3 2 blocks in any given hand. And there's also no Sigil of Solace from Arsenal or anything cute to like bait you. So this is a very powerful card.
Yeah, I also gave it 4 stars, especially because it's really easy to just buff up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like a money where your mouth is off a vigor token. There's plenty of 1 cost pumps that you're pretty regularly having vigor to just use. So it's like really easy to just have 3 cards, and this can come in for 9, Yeah. So yeah, I also gave it 4 stars. So if you get it, it could be pretty good.
Also, just take it because it's expensive.
Yeah, totally value draft. Next up, Show No Mercy is a brute action attack. Costs 3, red pitch, defends for 3, attacks for 6, and it's a Rhinar spec. When this attacks a hero, intimidate them. If the defending hero has no cards in hand, this gets +3. I give this 3/4. It's at bare minimum, it's a 6 powered attack that defends for 3, and it has ridiculous upside. So,
yep,
pretty good in this set.
I fully agree. I gave it a 3. It's on the very high end of 3. It almost guarantees damage is going across. And then anything with the word intimidate on it is better than you think it is in this set. If you intimidate their red block card that does nothing in their hand, it's a beating. So this card is not maybe the most consistent, but very powerful. It also is Rhinar spec, which worth noting. Rhinar is kind of niche in limited, seemingly, until we figure it out. So it does kind of put you in a hole, but still think it's worth taking.
Well, even just intimidate, having 2 instances of intimidate, right? If you can bellows, beat chest into this, like you could get rid of their 2 blocks or their 2 3 blocks in their hand all of a sudden, and now their hand blocks for 4, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Or you can monstrous veil into it.
Get that 3rd one out of there, baby.
All right, we'll go to the Zeitgeist card next. Cast Bones. This is a 0-cost brute action. You reveal the top 6 cards of your deck. You get might tokens equal to the number of 6s you reveal, or 5s if you're KO. And if you control 6 or more might tokens, as this card resolves, you'll create an agility. This card is insane. I gave it a 4. It is flirting with 5. It's, like a CC staple. This card is very, very powerful.
I only gave this 3 stars because I was unsure of how consistent the 6 top cards of your deck are going to be, and if you're going to get the 6 might tokens. So I don't know.
I mean, if you hit 4, right, which is
pretty
reasonable to do, it's still 0 for 4. That damage stacks, puts, more damage on 1 turn, which is always a good thing.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's a 3-block non-attack against Warrior.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty good. I'll give it 3.5 then.
Sounds good.
Next up is Reckless Charge, brute action, 3-block. It's a blue and it's free. It's a KO spec. Roll a 6-sided die. Gain action points equal to half the number rolled, rounded down. And if you've rolled a 6 on a die this turn, draw a card. So it's Scab Skins, but a card that also gives you 3 resources and draws you a card. I gave this 2 stars. Could be awesome. Don't know if I would ever pick it in a draft though.
Yeah, I also gave it 2. It's just a blue 3 block, and then it can get you out of a hole if like you're really deep. But I think it's fun for like outside of limited if you pair it with a ready to roll or something. And
Totally, yeah.
But even then, it's like it's just fine. But it blocks 3. It's non-attack. It's blue. We like that.
Yeah, it's serviceable.
Yep. Next up, we got No Fear. This is the brute Oasis Respite kind of 0 cost red instant. As an additional cost, you can choose to banish any number of 6 attacks in your hand, and then No Fear prevents 2 damage plus the amount of 6s you banish. If this is an arsenal and there's 4 6s in hand, it's a 0 for 6. That doesn't turn on things like Saber. I gave it a 4. I think it's really strong. I think it's also narrow, and it's not a 6, so it affects consistency, but overall it's still very powerful.
Yeah, I had no way how to figure out how to rate. I was just like, I don't get it, I guess. So I gave it 2 stars. So I don't know.
It's also a like pseudo D-react, which there's not a lot of.
Yeah. Right.
Like reaction speed defense, which is valuable.
Yeah. Agreed. It just seems, I don't know, gimmicky in this. And I would rather maybe have other cards. So that's why I didn't rate it very high.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. Okay, now into the real bread and butters of the brute card. So first up, we have Beast Mode. So looking at the red, it's a brute attack, 6 power, cost 3, defense for 3, and it reads, if you've intimidated this turn, this gets +2. Looking at my notes, I gave this 3 stars. You know, it's a good card. It blocks 3, is a 6, and could be a 3 for 8, 2 card 8. It's great.
For sure. I gave it 2 stars. I think that the red is probably 3, and it's probably like very premium in the right Rhinar deck. But I think KO really struggles to intimidate, so it's just a 3 for 6, in which case it's kind of just like worse than the rest of the brute pool. It does block 3, so it's fine to have in your deck, but I don't think it's not the brute card that you want most of the time.
Right. Fair.
All right, next up we have Pack Call. This is the 3 for 7, block 3. And when you defend with it, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a 6, leave it there. If it's not, bottom it. This text is more relevant than it may seem immediately because you can stack this trigger ahead of a block or a clash. So if you have a clash of agility or something, you can kind of preview the top card and maybe cycle it for something better. Obviously, you don't have the choice, but if it's a 6, you're likely winning. I gave this 3 stars.
Nice. I almost gave it 3 stars, but then I gave it 2.5 because, which maybe I should give it 3 because like all 3 colors are pretty good for both brutes. But I felt like the text was less relevant than some other ones, but you are correct on how to stack it, and that has come up in some pre-release games. So 2.53 is what I'll say.
Totally. And quick note on this card, there's some playing with the rates. So like we're used to 3 resources being for 7 and 4 being for 8, and alas.
Yeah.
This set plays with that a bit, and everything doesn't follow that normal trend that we're used to. And the fact that this is like on rate, as people say, is actually quite strong. So nothing wrong with 3 for 7.
Yeah, totally. Because I think I lost a clash because we both had 7s, but it was KO, and this on top is a 3 for 8.
Sure is.
You know, and you're like, oh man, that sucks. Oh well. Next up is me. Yes, Rawhide Rumble. Brute attack, 6 power, 3 block. Looking at the red, cost 2. It has beat chest. And when this attacks a hero, if you've beaten chest this turn, intimidate them. I gave this 3 stars.
I did as well.
Yeah.
It's a role player, not the best card in your deck, but it can help you close the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, I feel like the beat chest mechanic is really good,
Totally.
And so I
Yeah.
definitely want to have those cards. If
I
I'm,
am annoyed that this is my only or the only 2-cost beat chest because like clearly there's synergy with Bonebreaker, Bellow, and 2 costs. So
yeah,
this works nicely with Bonebreaker, but none of the other ones do.
yeah,
But maybe eventually. Maybe eventually.
but it's a good combo. That's why it gets 3 stars for sure.
Totally. 11 with 2 intimidates on a 4-card hand is huge. You're guaranteed
Yeah.
pushing 5, 6 damage
Spicy,
there.
spicy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very good.
All right, next up we have Assault and Battery. This is the same template as Pack Call with the 3/7/3. It also has Beat Chest, and it says when this attacks, if you've beaten chest, create an agility token. I think this is the most premium brute attack, and I gave this 4 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 3.5/4, but I think I should just give it straight 4. Just being able to like have a card at basically 3 colors that you could use in KO and 2 that you can use in Rhinar, and it makes you an agility token. Agility's huge, so yeah, 4 stars for sure.
Yep. And it also creates the Might token if you're KO.
Yeah,
Beat Chest.
so good. Bare Fangs, another brute attack, cost 2, 6 power red, and when this attacks, draw a card and then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more power is discarded this way, it gets +2. So then it becomes 2 for 8, which is pretty crazy. I gave it 3 stars. You can make this happen pretty regularly. So
Totally. So
yeah.
this is one of the cards with the biggest variance between colors for me. So I think like the blue and the yellow are like 2-ish, but I think the red I give it a 4.
Yeah.
I think the red is very premium.
Yeah.
2 for 8's just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
All right, next up we have a familiar face. We have Pack Hunt. This is 2 for 6, blocks 3. When this attacks, intimidate. This is a 4-star card at red. I think probably 3 below that, but 6 attack with intimidate is very relevant, especially on an agility turn where you can kind of intimidate a card, push damage, and make them make hard decisions about what's coming next.
I think I rated this low because it's not new and shiny. And I was just like,
Fair.
this is just old Pack Hunt here. So I gave it 2.5 just because the other cards I felt like are doing more for what it seems like brutes want to do in this set. And this just has intimidate on it.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, I think 2.5 is reasonable if you're like combining all the colors. But I
Yeah.
do think that red one is
The red is
so good.
definitely very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But who knows? This is why we're here. We will find out
Yes.
over time who is right and who is wrong. I feel like I'm getting walloped here in the brute cards.
It's tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky. Is it me? Is it you? I can't
It's
keep
you.
track. It's me. Pound Town. Ooh, I get the sexy card. Okay, Pound Town, brute attack action. Looking at the red, it's a 3-costed, 7 power, 3 blocking attack that has beat chest. And when this attacks, if you've beaten said chest this turn, create a might token, which is pretty rad. Let's see. Ooh, lost where I was in my notes. I give this 3.5. Super good, I think. It's a 3 for 7 that blocks 3 and can basically make you 2 mites. So buffing up your next turn if you're KO, which is awesome.
Yep. I gave this 3. I think it's like at the high end of 3, but very good card. It's just not as good as Assault and Battery, so it was hard to give it the same grade.
I feel like they're kind of similar, but that's the hard thing I think about this set so early is like how okay, so if I do beat chest with Pound Town and I'm KO, that's +2 on my next attack next turn, right?
For sure.
But if I Assault and Battery in an agility, that's maybe worth more damage because then I can like claw for free with Go Again. So that's 3 damage. So is that actually better? Who knows? We will know
is.
eventually.
For sure. All right, next
Yeah.
up we have a annoying card to all Brute players out there. We have Wild Ride, the card I wish was never printed. This is 2 for 6 with no block. And it says when this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more is discarded this way, this gets go again. If you had a friend playing in the calling, I'm sure you heard I had 2 6s in hand. I drew one off the top. I discarded the non-6. I lost the whole game because of it. And they're right, because that is what happens at just a ridiculous rate with this card. It's so frustrating. It's also very powerful, but I gave it a 3. It's like a 5 sometimes. It's a 1 sometimes. I don't really want them. But also, I'd be naive to say it's not a powerful card. So it is what it is.
I gave it 3.5. I feel like it's not as hard as it used to. I mean, it's hard in limited for sure, but it has this weird place where it actually really fits and can be like just so nuts that
it can be.
I just couldn't rate it lower than 3.5.
Sure. Yep.
Perhaps my favorite new Brute card, Bonebreaker Bellow. Brute action, blocks for 3, costs 1, and at red it has beat chest. Your next Brute attack this turn gets +3, and if you've beaten chest, instead it gets +5, and it has go again. This card's nuts. I gave it a 4.
I also gave it a 4. I think this card is amazing.
Yeah.
3 block non-attack, huge upside. It's an extender, so you can like go big when you don't have agility. It also kind of is an agility because it will turn on your mandible claws.
Exactly. That's like the biggest play
want.
is all of a sudden mandible claw comes in for 8 and you're like, wait, what? With go again?
8 go again, yeah.
I'll block 4 with 2 cards, take 4, and then
that's when you pack hunt at the end.
Yeah.
And the game.
Yeah, you're dead. Yeah.
Yep. All right, next up is one of my favorite cards from the whole set. This is Smashback Alehorn. This is the Brute non-attack action, only comes in blue. It's kind of a faux cycle with the other classes. And this one says, create an agility and a might, go again. So again, this is a non-attack extender. If you don't have agility, it's a way you can use some cards in hand. And obviously, the text is amazing. This allows you to block with raw meat for 2, sets you up for a huge turn.
What'd you give it?
Oh, 4.
Oh, you gave it 4.
Yeah,
See,
it's close to 5.
Ooh. See, I only gave it 2.5, and this is my reasoning. I understand absolutely everything you said, and I feel like I'm wrong. Like every time you've said a card, I'm like, oh, fuck, I think I'm wrong. But it's like, how many Smashback Alehorns do you want in your deck?
Probably 2.
Probably 2, right? So that's like 2 misses and 2 more 2 blocks you have in your card. So it's like only really good if you have 0 tempo or all of the tempo. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
it's
like
a
blue.
Win. It feels like a win more card to me. And I maybe only want one of them and just YOLO it turn 0. And then, I don't know, have a mighty windup also. And then Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very high on it. It's maybe partially because the art just goes hard, but
it does go hard. Yeah. Yeah, I could be swayed. Maybe it'll be somewhere in the 3.4, 3.6 range or something like that. Who knows?
The fact that it works with the raw meat is also a big part of why it's so good.
That's a great synergy. So maybe I'm super wrong. That's it for the Brute cards. On to the Guardian cards. We will start, I suppose, with High Riser, which is a Guardian weapon, one-handed hammer. Once per turn action, pay 3. If you've drawn a card this turn, this gets +1. So your 3-power hammer goes to a 4-power hammer. I gave this 2.
Yeah, I actually didn't rate this because it's a token, but it would definitely be a 2.
That's why I didn't rate it. Miller's Grindstone is what I meant to read. Also gave it a 2. There we go. Oh,
you gave Miller's a 2?
Yeah.
It's strong.
Is it?
I I gave Miller's a 4. It's a strict upgrade over High Riser as far as like damage. Like just
It's true.
it's 4 instead of 3, which is obviously good enough. And even if you lose one clash, which like against KO you very well could, then it's still 3 for 3. You get 2 arm slots. You can still play a High Riser if things go sideways. But it does open up a whole new win condition, which is fatigue. Obviously, Guardian kind of known for fatigue. Not in this set for sure. They have like crazy amount of 2 blocks.
Yeah.
But I think that this card is still quite strong.
I just haven't felt like I've seen the deck that is grindstoning for the win over doing other stuff in the game. So that's why I gave it a 2.
Totally. That's fair.
Yep. Okay. Also, Miller's Grindstone does stuff. Read the card. Anyway, carry on,
You know what
Zane.
it does.
Yeah.
It's the toxic Victor card.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Stonewall Impasse. This is our Guardian offhand equipment. This is the shield that blocks for 1 on its face with temper, but it says when this defends clash, and then if you win, it gets +2. So if you can win 2 clashes, this is 2 block and a 1 block. If you don't win 2 clashes, it can be 2, it could be 1. I gave it a 4 just because oftentimes you're not using your second arm slot in Guardian. Like you see a lot of people registering 2 High Risers, which doesn't do anything really. So just the fact that this is kind of like just sheer upside. If this gets you 3 life, it's insane.
That's true. That's a great way to think about it. I just thought about it as like, well, it's so hard to predict winning clashes. So I can only really give this a 2 based on like where I would pick this in the draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. I think I give it a 4, but it's a soft 4. Like it's probably closer to 3. And I don't think I see this in a pack and I'm like excited. I think I'm like,
Yeah. I think with a different, so I'm rating it like based up against everything else, and I think you're rating it not that it's wrong, but based on what it could do for you if you do have it. Yeah.
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 Which sometimes you got to play for the upside,
You totally do.
Only one person's going to win the tournament.
That's true, and it's you.
Hopefully.
Congratulations. Golden Glare. So this is a Victor specialization Guardian head equipment, and it has Blade Break, blocks for 2, and it says when this defends together with 2 or more yellow cards, create a gold token, which is pretty crazy. I still gave this 2.5 though.
Yeah, I gave this a 3. It's by far the weakest of the like specialization helmets. Maybe not by far, but it's the weakest. Yeah. Yellow cards in Guardian historically not good.
Not good.
So if you happen to have 2 together, and for some reason just so happen to need to block, 6 to 8 damage that turn, then it gets you the gold, which draws you the card, which is great. But there's just so often that this is just 2 block blank, which is not bad.
Which is not bad.
There's other things that can do that. So 3 stars.
Yeah. Yep. 2.5.
All right. Good Time Chapeau. This is the Betsy specialization headpiece. Action. Destroy a gold you control. Not the helmet, notably, which some people have
which I fucked up.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Your next attack this turn gets, when this attacks a hero, wager a might and a vigor token with them, and then it also has temper 2. This is a healthy 5-star card. This is a legendary disguised as a rare. It also lets you turn on the Betsy ability, and this is a windmill slam, pack 1, pick 1.
Absolutely.
If someone passes this to you, they're telling you you're the Guardian. This card's crazy.
Yeah, I also gave it 5 stars, and just from the simple fact I played Betsy in my pre-release and was breaking Good Time Chapeau with my gold because I was like, oh, for sure this is how this has to happen. Yep. And then somebody pointed out like, no, you don't have to do that. And I was like, this card is absolutely now broken. I can't believe I've messed that up.
If you're able to get it in pack 1 and then like build synergy around it, like go a little harder for the gold cards, It's
Yeah,
just ridiculous.
it's oh my god, it's so good. It's so sick. Yeah, and getting to turn on Betsy's ability, like and I also played Betsy, which was awesome. So I had the chapeau, I had her other specialization. It was great. It was a great
Wow.
sealed pool and a couple of money where your mouths are, and just getting to just overpower. Oh, and you just chunk their health down. It's like aggro Bravo. It's great. It's the best thing.
Totally. I've
Doesn't
only
get
played
any
one
better.
draft. Only played one draft of this set, and I was Betsy. And pack 2, I was pack 2, pick 2. I was past the chapeau.
Oh my!
And I was like just neutrally Guardian at that point, and then I was like, okay,
here we go.
Betsy.
Next up, we have Stand Ground Guardian Equipment Legs. This is the Guardian version of Raw Meat here. So if you control a Might token, +1 armor, Vigor token, +1 armor, and it has Temper, so it has 0 armor normally. I gave this 3 stars because if I'm going to give Raw Meat 3 stars, I'm giving Stand Ground 3 stars. Comes up, you can use it. It's very good.
And by that same logic, I'm giving this 4 stars because I
Nice.
like Raw Meat a lot. Although I will say Raw Meat is better, just because KO is so good at making Might tokens. So it's a little harder for you as Guardian to be able to proc this twice, whereas KO is like KO specifically should be getting his like 2 blocks with Raw Meat. If you only get 1 with Stand Ground, that's totally fair.
Yeah. Fair
All
enough.
right, next up we have Bet Big. This is the Betsy specialization. This is the 4-for-8 style Guardian attack, and it says when this attacks a hero, you may wager a gold, might, and vigor token with them. I gave this 4 stars. I think this is a big like bomb if you are Betsy, especially if you have the helmet. It all just works together and lets you keep chaining your big overpowered attacks.
Yep. I also gave this 4 stars. This bad boy, gold token and 2 blues, is 9 overpower, and you just get all the tokens again and get to use your Stand Ground
see you
and
again
chapeau
next
next turn. Yeah, it's great.
Yep, totally.
Primed to Fight Guardian attack action. It is a 5 costed 9 power attack that blocks for 3. And if you've controlled a Vigor token this turn, this costs 1 less to play. If you've controlled a Might token this turn, it gets +1. So if you have both, it would be a 4 for 10. I gave this 3 stars. It's pretty good, but the 5/4, I guess it's kind of /3 is, it's got to come up, and Vigor is like, you can get it as Guardian, but it is a bit more fleeting. At least all of the tokens are a bit fleeting, it feels like, in Guardian.
Totally. I gave this 4 stars. I think it's to some degree just the classic Guardian big number is good because there's a lot of smaller attacks in the set. So even just 5 for 9 is totally fine, and it fits the cost curve of like playing a pump ahead of it. But if you ever do the 2-card 11, if you have the Vigor and Might, it's insane. So I give this 4 stars. It's a little hard to set up, but I think if you have it, it's worth kind of warping what you're doing to make it happen.
Fair.
All right, next up we have Golden Sun, or the Golden Sun.
Yeah, get it.
This is a 4 for 7, so we are messing with the cost and attack curve because we're used to 4 for 8 for Guardian.
Yep.
3 block, and it says as an additional cost to play this, you may destroy a gold you control. If you do, it gets +3 in overpower. And then when you win a clash, revealing this, create a gold, which then draws the card. I gave this 4 stars. I think this card's kind of nuts.
It does a lot.
It's it's second cycle. If you can get there, if you just rip it on first cycle and you happen to have a gold, it's crazy.
Yeah, I gave it 3.5.
Yeah, that's fair.
I thought it was good, but maybe not as good as Bet Big. Just what Bet Big does for you potentially.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Is maybe better, so that's why I gave it 3.5 and didn't give it the 4. Okay. Next up is Boast. It's a Guardian block, and it's a blue. This gets +X defense while defending, where X is twice the number of clashes you've won this turn. I was unsure what to do. I just gave this 1 star. It's like, if this is going to be my Majestic I pick in the pack, I don't know if I'm winning the game.
It is aggressively medium. I gave it 3. It's a like soft 3, just because of what's not on the card. So it's not an attack, so it doesn't turn on Saber. It's a block card, so it gets run over power. The text is like whatever, almost will never matter, but it could matter once here or there.
Yeah.
But there's no like Anothos or Titan's Fist cost managing you have to do, so it doesn't have that downside. I think it's just one of those cards that's like kind of generically good, but it's not like exciting.
Yeah, I just kind of liked the other block cards in the set a little bit better. Synergizes.
It's true, but this is the
better.
blue one. A blue one is
yeah,
good.
That's true. Not enough for me.
Fair. All right, next up we have Trounce. This is another Guardian block card. This one is red. It blocks for 3, and it says when this defends, clash with the attacking hero. Put the revealed cards on the bottom of the owner's deck, then clash again. If a hero wins both clashes, they create a gold, might, and vigor. This is one of those insane ceiling cards. I gave it 4. I think it's a soft 4 because it's hard to win 2 clashes in this format. But if you're able to do this as Victor, I think it's just like it almost will end the game on the spot. It's just too efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. I gave it 2.5. I'm low on Majestics most of the time just because of it has to be so good because it's the only one of them I'm going to get, which this maybe fair. Is, for me to want
also,
to like pick it,
We should average all of our numbers at the end to see like our, average per card. I bet mine's a little high, which is probably just because like I like this set and I think that the set's fun and interesting to play.
Totally.
But that'd be a fun.
That would be fun. When you stack this up versus other sets I have done, I give more. This one is probably higher than other sets for me. So historically, I'm a little higher on cards than I normally am.
I also think that there's like so spoiler alert, I give no 1s in this whole process, which I think is intentional. Like I think that there are no memorial grounds, there are no whatever the cognition fields or whatever it was.
I have a couple.
Yeah,
I have a couple.
We'll see as they come up. We'll see if we agree.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Me, Colossal Bearing, 4 for 8 powered attack guardian action. That's how you say that in a non-confusing way. And it defends for 3. It has Tower. If this has 13 or more, it gets, in quotes, when this hits a hero, destroy an equipment they control with 1 or less armor. I give this 3 stars. Just it's, on rate, 4 for 8, defense for 3. We're probably not going to tower, but if we do, it would be impactful.
Totally. I gave this 4. As I read it again, it's probably a 3. But just being on rate in Guardian in this set is hard. So the fact that this is a 4 for 8 is already good. The tower is kind of whatever. It's gravy if you hit it.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Lay Down the Law. This is another 3 for 7 that blocks 3. It has a tower effect that says if this has 13 or more non-equipment cards get -1 while defending this. That text is crazy, but it's also the hardest to do because you need +6, where the other ones you only need +5, which is doable off of Big Bop or Bigger Than Big.
Yep.
This one, a little unlikely to ever have that text, but strong text. I gave it a 4. It's a soft 4. It's like, it's probably a 3, honestly.
Yeah, I gave it a 3. If this was the rare I took out of the pack, I would be stoked. It's a 3 for 7. Which is really good in this set because a lot of times it's like, maybe it's actually a 2 for 8 because you have a vigor and a might, and then now you can play money where your mouth is, and now, off of a single blue, and it just makes your turn pretty efficient. So it's low cost, high power. It's a good card. 3 stars. Next up, Guardian attack action Smack of Reality. It is a 5 costed 9 power attack that defends for 3, and it has Tower. which means that when this hits a hero, destroy all aura tokens they control. I give this a 2, but maybe I should give it a 3. But it's kind of a weird, 5 for 9 is where you want to be, but that makes it like it's not like a 4 for 8 is like with a vigor. Now it's just a blue to play it. You know what I mean? And its text is like pretty blank. I feel you know what I mean?
You can get to the 13 off of a big bop, and then it like can destroy an agility. You're kind of asking a lot, but it does. Yeah. It could happen. I give this a 4. I think again, I'm high on any guardian attack that goes on rate, because we're gonna get to the commons, which do not do that. So I think any of these rare attacks, I'm kind of happy to get because they let you play guardian how you picture it in your head. 4 for 8s, 5 for 9.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of not on rate, the next card we have is Over the Top. This is a 3 for 6, 3 block. And it says if this has attack greater than its base, it gets overpower. I gave this a 3. I think you could make an argument that the red one is maybe a 4 as like a way to close games. But I think this is just aggressively medium. I think you do want one as a way to just kind of like, close a game out of nowhere. But I think it's nothing exciting.
Yeah, I gave it 2.5. I'm a little lower on these cards. I mean, it is cool. Like just a single might token gets you there, Yeah. So that is really nice. And it does block for 3, but it's like, I don't know if I really want the blue even. I mean, the blue is fine. So then it's like 3 for 5 is pretty terrible, but they could probably that's still a card and an equipment they maybe still have left over, or some sort of shenanigans instant thing. So I don't know. And then the yellow is just a poop. So 2.5. I'm low on this card.
Yeah, it's not great. The red's okay though.
Yeah, the red's okay. 2.5, baby. Stacked in your favor. This is a guardian action aura. Cost 2, the red one does. And it defends for 2. It has go again. Your attack action cards get +3 defense. While defending at the start of your turn, destroy this, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your deck. It's kind of a lot, but I don't really know. I mean, it's cool because it buffs your cards, but I always kind of want to just do more damage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this doesn't do that. So I only gave it 2 stars.
I also gave this 2, and this is probably the weakest card in the set if I had to pick one. Like if there was any 1s in the set, I guess we'll see, but I think that this is the closest we get to a 1. I think the reason it's not for me is that it has go again, so it lets you play a big hand if it just so happens to fall that way. And then it's a non-attack, so it doesn't turn on Saber, which is not a huge selling point, but it's something.
It has some use, yeah. I just didn't give it a 1 because I'm like, well, maybe there's like a defensive guardian list that uses these or something like that, in a world where, because it's a common that people just don't pick this, and this is kind of a weird thing you can all of a sudden have 5 of.
It's a rare. It's actually a rare.
So that's what I mean. Sorry that it is a rare. Yeah.
It's one of those weird cards that I don't know what it's doing here, but
yeah, okay, maybe it is.
The flavor's cool. I don't know. It's fine. It's just bad Stonewall confidence.
Yeah. Artwork boring. Yeah, basic.
It's on theme though.
It is.
All right, next up.
Producer Colin here. Zayne and Taylor forgot to say the name of this next card, which is Command Respect. And now they're gonna shit on it.
We have another 3 for 6, which again, you should have a negative reaction when I say that. This one also blocks 3, and it says when this hits a hero, if it has attack greater than its base, destroy a card in their arsenal. I do think this is a good card, but it's just a 3 for me.
What did I give this thing? 2.5. So pretty similar. Yep. It's 2.5. That's it. It's just so bad in these other colors.
If you're 2 card 6ing them, that's not good.
Yeah. And it probably loses you a clash against everybody because it's a 6 powered attack and everybody's else's is bigger. So
There's a lot of just 6s in Guardian too.
yeah. Concuss. 3 for 6. Guardian attack action that defends for 3. When this hits a hero, if it has greater than its base, they discard a card. This is the one I kind of like a bit more because it attacks the hand, and we know the hand is very valuable. So I gave this one a 3.
I went all the way up to 4 on this one. I think that's more specifically the red.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the Guardian common that you want. Like, there's other ones obviously, but this is like kind of the one.
Yeah. It's good. I liked it. Had it in my pool. It did work.
Yep. Yeah. My draft deck, I had 3 red and a yellow. It was very good.
Hell yeah.
All right, next up we have Thunk. So this is a 5 for 8. So again, we're below rate. Blocks 3. And it says, when you win a clash revealing this, create a might token. That's kind of not one of those things that you can set up. You just kind of have to hope for the best. I gave this a 3. I think it's kind of like a soft 3, but it's a card you're happy to have in your deck.
Yeah, I gave it a 2.5 just because its value you get out of it is based on variance, and it needs to be on top of your deck, and you need to win it. So, yeah. 2.5. Okay, next is Wallop, 4 for 7, below rate, blocks for 3. And it's the same thing for clashing and revealing, but this one creates a vigor token. I gave this 2.5/3. Feel like the vigor token can be pretty big in Guardian because it turns your 4-costed attacks into 3-costed attacks, and then
For
your
sure.
5-costed attacks to 4-costed attacks, and that maybe means you can use Betsy's ability, so then it kind of pays for a little bit more. So that's what I got.
So I had a funny scenario in one of my draft games where I revealed the Wallop on a clash, but I had blocked in such a way that planned my turn to not use the vigor. So then I get a vigor that I have not planned for that I just waste.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I give this a 3. It's a soft 3, 2.5. I didn't really do decimals, but if I did, this would be 2.5.
Yeah, you kind of did. You did soft.
I get, soft.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Big Bop. This is a 3-cost Guardian action aura. At the start of your turn, destroy this. Your next Guardian attack this turn gets +5, and when it attacks, you may wager a vigor. I gave this a 3 overall, but I do think that the first copy in your deck is better than that. Like, you really want the first copy, but after that, you don't really want a lot of these. But you definitely want the first red one.
Yeah, I also gave this a 3. I think having 2 or 3 of these types of auras, this one or Bet Bigger or Bigger Than Big, they're kind of the same for me because you're mostly interested in the +5. But if you have enough of them, 3 feels correct. Like, if you can get 3 reds, it means you can maybe go first on turn 0 and set this up and just
slam it.
Yeah, and just be so far ahead that it's nuts. So, but other than that, it's like a 2 block without go again. So then it's just like, oh, the upside is good, but the downside very bad. So 3.
Yeah.
Okay, Bigger Than Big, very similar. It's a Guardian attack action or action aura, defense for 2, cost 3. And it does not have go again. So at the start of your turn, you destroy it. It gets +5. And then your next Guardian attack action gets, when this attacks a hero, you may wager a might token with them. I also gave this a 3 for all of the same reasons I just said for the one before it.
Effectively identical.
Yes.
The art's better, though.
Well, I don't know. Big Bop is fucking crazy.
I like bigger than big. It's cool.
It is cool. Those dudes are massive.
They're huge. All right. Next up, we have a pint of strong and stout. So this is that cycle of like drinking themed cards, I guess. I didn't realize that till just now. Zero cost blue Guardian action, blocks for 2 with Go Again. And it says create a might and a vigor token. I think this is the weakest of the 3, but it's still quite good. I gave this a 3.
I also gave this a 3, but I might also just give it the same rating as I gave the Brute one, which whatever that one was, 2.5. It also could be a 2.5.
It like I think Go Again is premium. Like
Yeah.
obviously the pumps are kind of like your most premium source of Go Again, but
Yeah.
just a blue that you can play out if you get stranded with cards is that turns on your stand ground. It's fine. It's good. You want 1 or 2.
1 copy, yeah, or 2. Wow, we did it. Well, now we're into Warrior. This is crazy.
Over to Warrior.
Over to Warrior. Doing great. Moving right along. Great work, Zane. Having a great time.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. Let's see. First one up, I believe, is not the token weapon. It's Hot Streak. Warrior one-handed weapon. Attacks for 2. Once per turn action. Costs 1 to attack. When this is defended by 1 or more attack action cards, Hot Streak's attacks go again this turn. Could be pretty good. I give it 2.5. You have a lot of other ways to get around this, namely agility tokens and that sort of thing. So.
Totally. I think that this is a very like hard card to evaluate on its face, but after playing against it, I do think that this is very powerful. I gave it a 4. I think it's like, in that same like ball breaker range where it's
pack
like,
1, pick 1.
Oof. Yeah, if that's my pack 1, pick 1, I'm not excited. Like I'm like, oof, that pack was weak. But I'm also happy to have it. I like playing Warrior in this set, but I'm almost always going to take a hybrid card over something like Hot Streak, which is so narrow. But I think that the Warrior decks that have 1 saber, 1 Hot Streak are better than the Warrior decks that just have 2 sabers.
2 sabers. That's fair. But your beginning reasoning was right on the money of like why I didn't give it higher than 2.5. Just because I'm like not going to pick it super early. It's like once I'm in Warrior and that passes to me, I'm like sick. I would take that over something else, but
totally. I think it helps your matchup into KO. So it has like some niche like value in that KO wants all 6s, which is all attacks, which means that KO can't really block your Hot Streak. So there's kind of some like weird upside to
absolutely
it being good against like the best deck in draft currently is the perception.
Right. It'll change next week.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Parry Blade. This is a warrior weapon equipment, first of its kind, I believe.
Oh.
1 cost to attack, same as all the other warrior weapons. But this one says this gets +2 defense when defending a weapon attack. I gave this 3 stars. I think it's another one of those ones that's hard to evaluate. It's just worse Centauri Saber until all of a sudden it's not, and you can block with it. I don't know. What do you think?
I gave it 2.5. Just it and Hot Streak feel like they're made for specific decks,
Yeah.
And so if you have some of that specific deck already going and this comes around, then it's obviously way better. But I think just in a pack that I'm going to pick from, it's a 2.5. Shout out to Brendan Patrick, who just like can't say Parry. He has to say Pari for whatever reason.
Oh, did he? I didn't know this.
Yeah, he says Parry Blade. And I don't know if that's his weird accent that he has or like he says Lumina instead of Lumina. So I don't know,
Scalita.
Exactly.
Arabian
Speaking
skies.
of Ida's, Prized Galea is our next card. Warrior Equipment Headpiece. This is the Olympia specialization. It has Temper 2 and has an attack reaction that costs 1. Destroy this. Target weapon attack you control wagers a gold token with the defending hero. So interesting that it's a wager as a reaction. Like it's such,
Yeah, it's cool.
it's like a couple of warrior stuff does that. And I'm like, this is a classic dick move, you know, like something's already happening and you're just like, I bet, you know, you won't do this or whatever, like last minute. And they're like, oh, okay. And then you totally hose them, you know? So
This is a textbook card that Colin would hate.
yeah, totally. I gave this 3 stars. Blocks 3, has a sick little situation going on. I like it.
I gave it 4. I just think that the armor in this set is nuts. And then if it has upside, that's huge.
Fair. Totally fair.
All right, next up we have the Hood of Red Sand. This is the Kasai specialization headpiece. It's Battle Worn 1, and it has an attack reaction that says, pay 1, banish a red and yellow card from your graveyard, destroy this. Target sword attack gets, when this hits, draw a card. I also gave this 4 stars. This is more or less pay 1, draw a card.
Yeah.
And that's very, very strong.
I also gave it 4 stars. Especially because it has Battle Worn, so can block with it at any time and then use the attack reaction. Super good.
Yep. Agreed.
Super good. Okay. Beckon Applause. This is a Warrior Arms piece, and this is the Warrior version of the have 2 tokens. It has Temper and it gets 2 defense, so this one's for agility and vigor. I think I gave this 3 stars, 3.5, kind of like I gave all the other ones, maybe. No, I gave Stand Ground 3 and Raw Meat 3. I don't know why I gave this one 3.5. Don't know.
I think they're all pretty similar. This is a 4. It's, you know, a weak 4. Again, Raw Meat's the best, but this one is very good.
Yeah, maybe I rated it higher because it means you have an agility token, and that's very good. But I guess so does Raw Meat, so I don't know. Don't know what I was thinking. Just crazy. It's high.
Just crazy. It's just wild. No, it's reasonable. They are like narrow, and I think you have to play towards them. So like, I think they're better now than they were on like day 1 of pre-release when people like weren't like thinking about them.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, next up we have Blade Flurry. This is a 0-cost warrior attack reaction. It says target weapon attack gets +2, and your next weapon attack this turn gets +2. This is a Windmill Slam 5 star. It's a 0 for 4 block 3 attack reaction. It's crazy.
What did I give it? Yep, I gave it 4.5.
Yep.
Super, super, super good. Yeah, I would pack one, pick one this. For sure.
Yes.
Next up is Shift the Tide of Battle. Warrior attack reaction. Defends for 3. Is a yellow, which is interesting, and costs 0. Target warrior attack with attack power greater than its base. Gets go again. And the next time an opposing hero is dealt damage this turn, create an agility token. Just absolutely bananas. I gave this also 4 stars.
Yeah, I gave this 4. I believe this is the only card in this set that can give a weapon go again in reactions. Like it's kind of the like Blade Runner archetype.
Yeah.
Which is very strong because you can kind of really catch people out. So yeah, 4 stars. Happy to see it.
And it has dope flavor text. I don't know if this is a Brian Gottlieb or not, but the arena must claim its share of every coin and every cheer. And woe betide the bookie who defies it. Pretty good.
Woe to them. All right, next up we have one of my absolute favorite cards in this set. We have Up the Ante. This is a blue warrior attack reaction that costs X, and it says choose X +1. And then the 4 options are attack wagers an agility, and attack wagers a gold, attack wagers a vigor, and attack gets +Y, our first mention of Y in the game, where Y is the number of times it has wagered. So it's kind of like a 2-card 4 at minimum, like on a reaction. So 2-card 4 at reaction speed, which doesn't sound very good, but it gets you all the tokens. It triggers your Olympia text, and if you've wagered once or twice leading up to this, it could be a 2-card 6 in reactions, and it's a blue that gets around overpower. So this card does everything I want. It's a 4. It's flirting with 5, but it's a 4.
Yeah, I also give it a 4. I feel like for whatever reason, these Majestic Warrior reactions are just easier to evaluate. Maybe it's because it's in like game terms we understand historically. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Up the Ante is super good and has super good art.
Oh yeah,
love that.
I opened this in my second pre-release alongside a Marvel Young Olympia, and we were having a blast.
All right, you heard it here first. Zayne Olympia main.
I love Olympia.
Sweet. Yeah, you were defending him in the Discord the other day.
Yeah,
it's
I
great.
think he's okay.
Yeah, we'll find out. Commanding performance, though, is what Olympia does sometimes in the arena. Warrior action, defends for 3, costs 1, and is a red. Your next warrior attack this turn gets +3. Until the end of turn, your warrior attacks get, when this is defended by 1 or more attack action cards, destroy a card in the defending hero's arsenal. Go again. Pretty good. Has a lot of text. I gave it a 3-star situation. Maybe it could be a 4 because it's so generically good for all warrior attacks.
Yeah, this is one of those funny ones that it's like better in CC than it is in limited.
Yeah.
I also gave it 3 stars, but
Nice.
it's a non-attack that blocks 3 with like sheer upside. It's on rate. It's fine.
Yep.
Well, I guess it's kind of below rate, 1 for 3, but it's familiar. It looks like
It's on
25.
rate because it's 1 for 3 with text.
That's true.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, next up we have Raisin Army. This is our Kasai specialization. It's yellow, costs 0, blocks 3. As an additional cost, destroy X gold and create X Centauri sellswords, which are the 1 attack, 3 go again allies that you can use if you've attacked with a weapon. I think that this card is hard to evaluate. I think if you pop off and get 2-3 Centauri sellswords, it's nuts. I think most of the time it's just a 3 block. So I gave it a 3 for the ceiling, but you're probably not casting it most games in a meaningful way.
Yeah. Feels like a trap. Looks like a trap card. Is probably a trap card. So I just gave it a 2.
Yeah,
I would rather just have other cards than this one.
That's totally fair.
Yeah. Especially anything we had mentioned previous.
It's the weakest of
okay.
the Majestics.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's probably like the dopest in CC. Which I think is
Hopefully.
just good design for Majestics in a draftable set that you could use. Next up, so now we're into the rares. Cut the deck. Warrior attack reaction. Costs 1, and the red, all of them defend for 3. And then the red is +3. So warrior attacks get +3. If it is defended by an attack action card, draw a card, then put a card from your hand or arsenal on the bottom of your deck. I like this very much, and I gave it a 3.
Yeah, I gave the red a 4 and the other one's 3s. There's not many 3 block reactions. Like I think they're only the rares. And this is just an interesting way to like cycle arsenal.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. It's similar to Stroke of Foresight from WTR, but just a bit different. I don't know. I like it.
Sweet.
Next up, we have Fatal Engagement. This is a 2-cost warrior attack reaction that blocks 3. So again, it's a rare attack reaction, so it blocks 3. Play this only if an attack action card is defending this chain link, and then the red gives +5 to target attack, not weapon, not warrior attack, any attack. This is a very interesting card. I think this will be one of those like noteworthy cards that you should be looking for in pitch deck. I'm giving it a 3, but the ceiling is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just also one of those cards that you can arsenal and then lose the game on the spot because your opponent identifies it. So tread carefully. It's a powerful card, but don't arsenal it early.
I gave it a 3 because it's the only card that of these ones where I'm like, I think I would pick the blue. The blue has a lot
The
of
blue's
utility.
sweet. Yeah.
You know, so like the red is awesome because you're just like, here's +5, and you're like, well, dang, I wasn't prepared to do that math. And then you can have late in the game a reaction that is for sure going to get you +3, especially because like there aren't really defense reactions, and it makes it like you have so many 2 blocks probably that late in the game. So you maybe are able to actually get over the top even when they block with, 3 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Is it better if I do for 100 years? Take the upper hand. Warrior attack reaction. This one costs 0 and defends for 3. Play this only if you've wagered this chain link. Target attack gets +3, and then the yellows +2, blues +1. I gave this 3 stars. How about that? Pretty good.
I'm giving this a 4. I love this card.
Oh, sweet.
It is such a punish on like a wage agility or something because it just says target attack. It's not weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can like do your 3 for 7 wage and then pump it to 10. These are rare, so obviously you're not going to have a lot of these. But I think at red, this is a very premium, like especially Olympia. But even Kasai, I think, is happy to have it.
Sweet. Yep. Seems good.
All right. Next up, Agile Engagement. This is the beginning of the commons. So this is a 1 for 3 attack reaction, and it blocks 2. And it says if it's defended by an attack action card, create an agility. I gave this a 3. This is, at red, it's a card you're very happy to have, but it's a 2 block. It has some downside, and a lot of times it is just going to be a 1 for 3. But again, at reaction speed, that's pretty good.
Yeah, the agility part of this is doing, I think, all of the work in the 3-star rating that I also gave it.
Totally, yeah.
Next up is Vigorous Engagement. So it's basically the same as Agile Engagement, and the red gives +3 target attack, and it creates a Vigor token instead of an Agility token. I still gave this... I gave this one 2.5, a little bit less, because agility is way more premium in Warrior than perhaps the Vigor token is.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's weaker than the other one. Although there is some like Vigor is kind of sneaky good in Warrior sometimes, where you can like block with your whole hand, still attack.
Yeah.
But I agree that it is weaker. I agree, 2.5 stars.
Hell yeah.
Next up, we have Draw Swords. This is kind of like the Kasai version of Sharpened Steel from WTR. So it's 3 cost Warrior non-attack action, blocks 3, and it says your next Warrior attack this turn gets +3 and draw a card, which obviously works great with Kasai, makes your swords free. I gave the red a 4 and the other colors a 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just gave it overall a 3. It's, the 3 cost is pretty tough. Makes it fair. Makes it a good, fair, solid card. 3 stars.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Edge Ahead. It's a Warrior action. The red one costs 1. Well, they all cost 1. So looking at the red, costs 1, defends for 3. Your next Warrior attack this turn gets +3, and when this attacks a hero, you may wager an agility token with them. And this non-attack action has go again. That's pretty good, but I'm still just giving it a 3-star rating here. Very good card. Would not be unhappy with multiple copies of these, and would be happy with the other colors as well.
Yeah, I give this a 4. This is like one of the Warrior cards I want the most.
Yeah.
Just making them interact with you, because they can't just like let you get an agility for free, and then opening them up to getting blown out by the attack reacts. Big fan of Edge Ahead.
Boom, baby.
All right, next up we have a bit of a unique one, a cool card. We have Engage Swiftblade. It's a 1 cost +3, 3 block, so it follows the same template. And it says your next warrior attack gets +3, and if it's defended by an attack action card, this gets go again. I gave this a 3, but I think this is one of those like interesting cards where like you do really want the first one. Like this is such a like hard card to deal with on like turns where you don't have agility. Your opponent like gets pushed into this tough spot.
Yeah. I also gave it 3. I would not be upset if like the best this, let's say I have a red and a yellow and I had to block with the red because it's a 3 block and I get to use the yellow. I'm still like not upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a good card. I would be happy
it's causing problems for your opponent, which is
yeah, totally. And it's one of the few cards like in the set. Quite a few of the warrior cards I feel like follow in this category, which I think is what makes them strong. Is just that it's not only the red card that you're like, I got to just have the red.
Totally.
The other ones have utility as well.
Also, art goes hard.
Art does go hard in this card. There's a few of these sneak commons that are just like, oh snap, which we'll get to that in a different show. Next up, warrior action Hold'em, costs 1, defense for 3. Your next warrior attack this turn gets +3, and when this attacks a hero, you may wager a vigor token with them. I give this also 3. I mean, all of these warrior cards are just kind of so samey that I just can't really figure out how to like not have them just be 3 stars when they all block for 3 and buff it by 3 and do a thing. You know what I mean?
Is the warrior way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like Hold'em. I think it's not as good as Edge Ahead. It's obviously that same template with the wagering. I gave it a 3, but if we're doing decimals, it would be a 3.5 for me.
Sweet. We're doing whatever we want to do, baby.
Yeah, we're doing it. 3.5. All right. The last of our drinking cycle, we have Goblet of Blood Run Wine. The blue warrior action with Go Again that blocks 2, creates an agility and a vigor. Go Again. This is a 4-star card. It's very powerful. That sets you up for a massive turn.
Yeah.
And it's, again, another way to just use your hand. It's turn 0. It's crazy.
Yeah, this one is the one I like maybe the most. It's like almost a 4 for me. It has some of the downfalls I've said before with the other ones. But yeah, it's like a 3.8. But yeah, in the specific class of warrior, an agility and a vigor token are very big.
Yeah, it's
very,
huge.
very big. Awesome. We did all of that. Now we're into our hybrid cards, hybrid card land. So we're going with Gauntlet of Might. It's a Brute Guardian Arms that has Blade Break 1 and has action. Destroy this, create a Might token, go again. I give this 3.5. It's awesome. Yep. Just +1. And in Guardian, this is a great way to turn on all of those mopey 3-for-6s,
Exactly.
So
it's one.
Go ahead. I just rate it higher than those cards because I think you need this to make those cards better. Yeah.
I fully agree. And I'm giving this a 4 just because I think the decks that have it are just so much better than the ones that aren't, in a way that like 1 point of value doesn't communicate,
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like it's very modular too. I mean, it only like the block one you don't want to do, like you definitely want the Might token, but
yeah,
it has that. If you need to, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Talk a Big Game. This is the Brute Guardian Majestic, 0 cost blue, non-attack action, blocks 3. One of the weirdest cards in the set, or like
Absolutely.
maybe ever, just like what the effect is. But it says, choose a number. The next time you deal that much or more damage to a hero this turn, create that many Might tokens. Go again. This gets a 4, partially for the text, but also partially for being a blue 3-block non-attack action, which I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. That's if your whole deck was, or if half your deck was 3-block blue non-attack actions, you do pretty well in this format.
Bah. I gave this 1 star. It's just like
it's good.
Why would I pick this over any other card that is
It's blue.
a little bit more synergistic for my
I do think that
overall game plan?
it's like actually reasonable in Guardian because like you don't like outside of concuss, you don't often give them reasons to block. So like if you have an extra card in hand and you can play this and even just like swing hammer, it just like makes your hammer like slightly more threatening to a hero that's trying to pop off on you.
I guess that's fair too.
It's a weird card, like we said.
It is weird. It is weird. 1 star, too weird. Clash of Might. This is a rare Brute Guardian attack action. It's a 2 for 6 and defends for 3. When this defends, clash with the attacking hero. The winner creates a Might token. Let me go over to my notes here. I give this 3 stars, which maybe now I kind of want to give it more because it's a 2 for 6.
Yeah,
But-
it's a high 3 for me.
Yeah.
The text is pretty good, and again, just being on raid is like very reasonable. Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Sweet. Awesome.
All right, next up we have Battered Not Broken. This is a Brute Guardian instant, the first of a cycle that prevents 2 damage. So this one says the next time you'd be dealt damage this turn, prevent 2 of that damage. If you do, create a Might token. Quick note on the word, like on the ruling, if you prevent 1 damage, you still get the token.
Sweet.
I think that this card is like kind of sneaky good. I gave it a 3. I think it's like a card I'm happy to have though.
Yeah, I gave it a 2.5. And it's pretty good, but I think I would like probably something like the next card we're about to talk about even more. So when it's like compared, it's like, well, I like this stuff better.
Yep.
So that leads us right into Brute Guardian block card that blocks for 4 Test of Might. When this defends, clash with the attacking hero. The winner gets a Might token. Even without that text, a block card for 4 is so good. 4 stars easily. Maybe 5.
Yep. It's a slam 4-star.
Oh man, it's so good. Just because of the overpower, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's cool. So like this is one of my favorite parts about the design of this set is like we've had block cards and you've been like, yeah, they're fine, but in this set you're like, boy, I need me a non-zero amount of block cards. You
Totally.
know?
Like
Yeah, it's great.
they're crazy valuable, especially in Guardian.
Yes.
All right, next up we have another Brute Guardian block card.
Once again, the guys forgot to name this card, which is Wall of Meat and Muscle. Back to you, Zane.
This is red, blocks 3, and it says when this defends, if you control a Might token, you may put an attack action card from your graveyard on the top of your deck. So again, can do cute stuff with clashing by blocking with this and triggering it first, but it still just gets a 3-star from me.
Yeah, I gave it 3.5. The fact that you get maybe a card back and could do cute stuff gave it a little edge for me, but I could be convinced of just it being a 3 as well.
Totally. Has good synergy with like Wild Ride and Bare Fangs.
Yeah, absolutely it does. Next up, we have Mighty Windup, Brute Guardian attack, 3 for 7, defends for 2, but has instant discard this, create a Might token. I gave this a 3 because at all colors, you can always discard it to create a Might token, and that's not that bad.
Yeah, I gave this a 4. I'm very high on the windups, especially the ones that Brute can play. So Mighty Windup and then obviously Agile Windup, which is like just a banger. But this card is like sneaky good in a few ways. Like it creates 2 Might tokens if you're KO doing it on your turn.
Yeah.
It turns on Mandible Claws. It turns on Beast Mode if you're Rhinar. It's just like there's just like cute stuff you can do with it, and it's more powerful than it seems.
Fair. Totally fair.
All right, next up we have Rising Power. This is a 2 for 6, 2-block Brute Guardian attack. It says if you've drawn a card this turn, it gets +1. I think that the whole Rising set is like kind of hard to value properly. I gave the red a 3 and the rest a 2. Like, I don't really want these, but the red one's fine. What do you think?
2.5 for me.
Yeah.
2.5 stars. I think you're totally correct. Next up, we have Wage Might. Brute Guardian, attack 3 for 7, defense for 2. When this attacks, you may wager a Might token with them. This is pretty good. This might be like 3.5 for me. Just a 3 for 7 with a wage on it. At a break point, like the red is really good because then it makes it so like, is it late in the game? Do I give them 3 cards? Do I give them a piece of equipment on this thing, etc.? It's good.
Yep, it's a 4 for me. Like primarily the red, but I'm happy with any color. This card's very good.
Nice.
All right, next up we have Lead with Power. This is a 1-cost Brute Guardian attack or action. Blocks 2. It says your next Brute or Guardian attack this turn gets +3 and create a Might token. Go again. So you can kind of read the red as a 1 for 4. Go again, which is very good. And then it applies to anything, including your weapon. I gave the red a 4 and the rest a 3.
I think I couldn't figure out how to rate that. I rated it 2.5, and my only reasoning there was I felt like the other Brute cards do more stuff for you than this one does. And then in Guardian, like, I don't know if I want this one over my other stuff just because of so many of my things have a weird cost that it doesn't really fit into a curve. So 2.5, but I feel like I'm absolutely wrong. So do with what you will with that.
It's not a 6, so like it has downside. Like you make good points that like it's not like the best card in your deck, but it's like it's good.
Next up we have Flat Trackers, because now we're into Brute Warrior land. These are legs that action destroy this, create an agility, and it has Blade Break 1. 4 stars, 5 stars. 4/5.
Yep, fully agree.
So good.
It's the best of the token creators, of course, because it's agility.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah, this is a card I'm happy to pack one, pick one.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, next up we have Runner. This is a 2 for 6 Brute Warrior attack action. It blocks 3, and it says when this attacks, if it has Go Again, create an agility token. I gave this 5 stars. I think that this card is crazy. 2 for 6 Go Again is great in any format, and the fact that it chains your agility is a huge thing that you want to be doing in this format.
Agreed. 5-star card. Super good.
Yep.
Next up, we have Clash of Agility. Brute/Warrior. It's a 2 for 6 that defends for 3 and has Clash. And it's clashing for an agility, which makes sense because of its name. I give this 3 stars. I would love to have a couple of these in my deck for sure. Pretty good.
Yeah, this is a tricky hybrid card because it's so good in Brute and it's so medium in Warrior. So I gave it 4. As Warrior, it's like sometimes a liability. Like I want to block with my 3 block, but I don't want to give them an agility that they can like plan their whole turnaround.
Totally.
Like it's not an optional
super
clash.
Good in the mirror, in the Warrior mirror. Like when you initiate a clash, if you have one of these and you get an agility out of nowhere on your defense, would be sweet.
Totally. It is a choice to include it. So like as Warrior, like I would take a look at the deck that you have, and like there's Warrior decks that probably shouldn't be playing this, but as a Brute, you just slam this. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right. Next is Take It on the Chin. This is another one of those 2 prevention instants. This is the Brute Warrior one. Prevents 2 damage, and if you do, create an agility token. This might be a hot take, but this is a 5 for me. This card is crazy. It's D-React, basically. That creates an agility, and you can like time it whenever you need it. This card's nuts.
Cool. I love that. I gave it 2.5, but I feel like it maybe is closer to a 3, but it still has like the things I don't rate high are maybe because they're so niche that they don't fit into like a cohesive deck. You know what I mean? But it's like you would be happy if you had this and you got an agility token. So yeah.
Totally. This just like plays into all my like mid-rangey sensibilities where it's like this is a blocking option that lets me like turn the corner and like be offensive back.
Totally.
Just everything that I like in a card.
Yeah. Next up, Brute Warrior block card named Run Into Trouble. It's a red stripped card and has no value to play it. Defends for 3. When this defends, if you control an agility token, deal 1 damage to the attacking hero. Could be good, but I gave this a 2. I would rather have other block cards or damage prevention cards.
Yeah, this is a 2 to 2.5. But you get some equity just by the fact that it exists. Like some people are a little more leery to go to 0.
Yeah.
Or to go to 1, sorry, against like Brute or Warrior because you just never know.
Fair.
All right, next up is Test of Agility. Same thing, Brute Warrior block card. This one blocks for 4, and it says when this defends clash with the attacking hero, the winner creates an agility token. Same with Clash of Agility. This is like so good in Brute and so risky in Warrior, but it's still a block 4 that you have to include, I think. I'm giving it 4 stars.
I also gave it 4 stars. Just in either scenario, agility on your defensive turn is so good that it's worth having it, worth picking it up. Next up, we have Agile Windup, 3 for 7 Brute Warrior attack, defense for 2, instant, discard this, create an agility token. This one's nuts. It's maybe a 5. Windmill slam this, win you the game.
Yep, this is a 4.5 fish, almost 5 for me in every color. I want any copy I can get.
Yeah, that's a great point. In every color, so good.
Yep, and it's on rate.
Yep, and it's on rate. We love that. So flexible.
All right, next up, Rising Speed, another one of the Rising like trio. Yeah. This is 2 for 5, blocks 2, and it says if you've drawn a card this turn, this gets go again. I gave this 3. I think it's not something that you're excited to have, but when it's good, it's great. But a lot of the time, it's like it could very well be a 2, but I'll go with 3.
I gave it 2 stars for sure.
Yeah,
because I don't know, like if I have a blue of this, I'm like sad.
Oh, yeah, we're not playing.
You
the
know
blues.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up is Wage Agility. Brute Warrior attack, 3 for 7, defense for 2. When this attacks a hero, you may wager an agility token with them. I give this 3 stars. You don't really want to give them an agility, but it's on rate, and depending on who you're against, you might just be fine.
Yeah, this is a 4. This is a 4 for me. I think it's like particularly the red one because the 7 is such a big number, but this opens up so much for Olympia. This opens up, I mean, it's obviously good in Brute, and part of why it's so good is that if they get the agility, they've given you cards, so their agility turn is like inherently not as strong as it would have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, at red, this is a card I'm happy to pack one, pick one.
Nice.
Next one, we got Lead with Speed. This is our 1 cost, 3 buff, 2 block non-attack action. That gives your next Brute or Warrior attack +3. And it says create an agility token. This is 4 stars. This is just a glue piece. It's probably a little better in Warrior than it is in Brute, but it's very good in both.
Yeah, I gave it 3.5. Just because like, and it's only this one tiny niche scenario is that like I would love to have multiple of these, but then if I have multiple of these, I have a bunch of block 2s. So
yeah, but you're getting stuck with block 2s anyway.
Yeah, you have block 2s no matter what. But that was my reasoning. It's probably a 12-star card.
15.
Boom. Okay, now we're into Guardian Warrior. We're almost there. We're getting down to it. Vigor Girth. Guardian Warrior chest piece. Destroy this, create a Vigor token. Has Blade Break. What'd I give this? 3? Yep.
Yeah.
3
I think
stars.
this is a 3.5. I think it's the worst of the 3 token creators, but it's
Yep.
still.
And that's how I have it.
Relevant.
Gauntlet of Might was 3.5. Flat Trackers was 4. And Vigor Girth is 3. Boom. Rated.
Boom. All right. We have a Guardian Warrior Majestic. This is double down. This is another one of those weird ones.
Yeah.
So it costs 2, but you may destroy a gold rather than pay the cost for double down. And it says the next attack that wagers this turn gets +3 and overpower. And if a hero would create 1 or more tokens from a wager this turn, instead they create that many +1 of each of the tokens. So a lot to go through here. It doesn't wager on its own. It's like you need a wager like card to pair with it. So this is like a really good combo with the Galia, the Olympia headpiece, because you can basically turn this on in reactions and like give your whatever attack +3 in reactions with the headpiece. But this card is weird. Its ceiling is high. Its floor is a 3-block non-attack. So it's getting 4 stars from me.
Nice. I gave it 3. Has a lot of upside, but is niche. So there we go.
Yeah, it's niche for sure.
Clash of Vigor. Guardian Warrior attack. 2 for 6. Defends for 3. And it's a rare. Red card here. So when this defends, clash with an attacking hero. Winner creates a Vigor token. I gave this 2.5.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I gave it 3. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's glue
yeah.
piece.
Yeah.
Better in Guardian than Warrior.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be okay with that as well, with a 3.
Next up is Slap Happy. So this is the final of our 3 instants that prevent 2. So if the next time you'd be dealt damage this turn, prevent 2. If you do, create a Vigor. I really like these instants. I think the ability to like plan your turn around these tokens like more proactively is a big like boon for them. So I gave this 4. I think it's like probably 3.5 to 4, but being able to like arsenal this and save it for an overpower or like attack react and then plan your turn around the Vigor is quite strong.
That seems fair. I just still am pretty low on all of these cards, and this one I'm the lowest on because sometimes the Vigor just like doesn't work out, especially when you have to use a card that prevents damage. So I gave it 2 stars.
That's fair.
Yeah. We'll see. Next up is Hardy Block. Guardian Warrior block card that defends for 3. When this defends, if you control a Vigor token, gain 1 life. I don't think this is as good as some of the other block cards. I gave this 2.5 stars.
Yep. It's a 2.5. I put 3, but you're right. It's a 2.5.
Yeah, like you have to also have a Vigor token already somehow. Yeah.
It's just narrow.
Yep.
All right, next up we have our 4-block card, which we love. This is
Love
Test of
that.
Vigor. When this defends, clash with the attacking hero, the winner creates a Vigor token. It blocks 4, it gets 4 stars.
It blocks 4, gets 4 stars. I gave this one just slightly less, 3.5, because it's not didn't feel as good as the other ones, but you're right. Maybe just because it blocks 4, it should just be a 4-star situation. Almost done. Rising. Ooh, I get a Rising card this time. Rising Energy. 2 for 6. Guardian Warrior. Defense for 2. If you've drawn a card this turn, this costs 1 less to play. I gave this 2.5 stars. If you've drawn a cards are tough to kind of pull off.
Yeah, I think that this card is like not very good, but I do like the red in like precisely Olympia. You can just like have this in Arsenal, hold a blue on your turn, pop a gold, refresh arsenal and still come in for 6. So I gave the red a 3. It's a 2.5, and then the rest are like 1.5 to 2.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, next we have a wind up. We have probably the least interesting of the wind ups. Maybe it's just because you can't play it in brute. But this is the vigorous wind up, 3 for 7, just like the rest. And then it has the instant discard this, creative vigor. I gave it 3 stars just because it's on rate. It's doing everything that you want, but just has a little bit less ceiling than the rest.
Totally. I agree. I also gave it 3 stars.
Cool.
Next up is Wage Vigor, 3 for 7, defense for 2, Guardian Warrior attack. And you guessed it, when you attack, you can wager a Vigor token with them. I gave this 3.5. 3 for 7.
Yeah.
With Vigor
3 for
token.
7 with upside.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a 4 for me, specifically the red. I just really like these 3 for 7 wagers, which is my Olympia favoritism showing, but I think it's good. I think 3 for 7 that gives you a hit effect is exactly what you don't want your opponent doing to you. So
yeah,
that's what you should try to do.
Yeah.
All right. And lastly, for our hybrid cards, we have Lead with Heart. This is the 1 for 3 buff for Guardian and Warrior that creates a Vigor token and costs 1. I gave this 4. It's a soft 4. It's probably 3.5, but 1 for 3 and creating a Vigor is quite good. I think the Vigor is easy to like undervalue, especially in Warrior, because it just lets you threaten reactions and do other stuff that otherwise you couldn't.
Yeah, that's fair. I gave it 2.8. In my only real experience with this card was like I had it in a Guardian deck and I could not figure out how to play it in with my cost curve. So it just felt clunky. But I do like the 1 costed kind of pumps, because especially this one, because it makes a Vigor. So then it like
kind of chain them.
Yeah, you could chain those together. So, but still it felt clunky. So 2.8.
Yep.
Meh. Okay. Generics. We're almost done, Zane.
Generics.
We might get this done in under 2 hours, which would be incredible. Glory Seeker. It's a generic headpiece. Instant. Pay 3. Destroy this. Draw a card. Probably one of the more underwhelming cards. I gave this a 1.
Yeah. It's in contention for a 1. I gave it a 2, but yeah, it might be a 1.
Just because there's those cards that then get a situation off of drawing a card, but this costs a whole card. So I don't know. It just makes those not as good. I don't know.
Yeah. It makes like your pitch stack, like when you're at like your blues and Kasai, gives them some upside because it makes your swords free. But it's not good. 1's pretty reasonable.
Okay.
Especially because the headpieces in this set are crazy.
Yes,
so like if you get
totally.
one of the good ones, like
if this is, and I would rather have Sheltered Cove over this also.
Yeah. So next up, Sheltered Cove, 3 cost instant headpiece. Pay 3, destroy this. The next time you'd be dealt damage this turn, prevent 2. The first thing my brain did when I saw this card was think of Dromai, which she probably won't play this, but it's in unconditional 3 Ash, which is funny. I gave this a 2. I think it's bad, but better than Glory Seeker.
I gave it 2.5 because it is kind of useful, even though you have to pitch for it, like against Overpower and that sort of thing. Could keep you alive.
For sure.
Do you want to do these adversity cards all as one because they're kind of the same?
Yeah, totally.
That's what I have. That's how I rated them. So there's a head, chest, arms, and legs for confronting or overcoming some sort of adversity in your life. And you can only basically defend with them if the attack or opponent has like fulfilled a specific condition. I just gave them all 2.5.
Yeah,
which seems high now.
No, I think that's reasonable. I think 2-block Blade Break's no joke.
Yeah, that's true.
I think, about like a soft 3, 2.5 to 3 is about right. Like some of them are better than others. You don't need to like get in the weeds, but
Yeah.
I think the legs are the best.
I think so too, but I would rather, just because there aren't many contentious spots for legs.
Yeah, these
You know
kind
what
of
I
just like are the opposite of flat trackers. Where like flat trackers creates the agility, and this like blocks 2 if they have agility.
Totally. But for the head, chest, and arms, I would rather have the other ones we talked about.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we'll do the same thing with these headliner, stadium, ticket puncher, all these that require you to have less life than your opponent, and then if you do, they block 1.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and give these 1 actually. I put
Nice.
2, but these are bad.
I gave them 1.5, which does feel generous.
Yeah.
Maybe
They just
because-
so often aren't on. Like
Yeah.
and then they're just like you can't get rid of them or like I guess you could, you just block for 0, but they can be a liability for down but not out. So
Yeah, exactly. Which, which is a
Getting
really
there.
good card. So 1 star, all of those.
yeah, they're bad.
Now we get into the generic Majestics. Nasty Surprise is Zayne is probably going to love this card because it's a blue that's free and defends for 3, attacks for 2.
It's an attack though.
Yeah, it's an attack, so maybe it doesn't get that high of a rating. When an opponent's effect puts this into your graveyard from anywhere, create a agility, might, and vigor token. I give this 2 stars, and it doesn't get a 1 star because it's a blue that blocks for 3.
Agree fully. 2 star.
Beautiful.
Next we have pay up, 3 costs, 6 attack, 3 block attack, generic attack. If the defending hero controls a gold, this gets overpower. And when this hits a hero, gain control of a gold token they control. If you don't, deal 1 additional damage to them. This is a 3. There's a lot of gold tokens in this set, so just like sniping someone for 3 overpower or for 6 overpower, like getting 3 over the top.
Yeah.
It can close a game. It's fine.
Agreed. 3 stars. Ripple Away, generic attack action, cost 2, is a blue. Defends for 3, attacks for 4. Instant. Discard this if an attack action card would create 1 or more tokens this turn. Instead, it creates that many -1 for each of those tokens. I just didn't understand how often this was going to come up, or if I cared that this card was in my pack over anything else. 1 star.
I hate this card as an Azalea player. This card is stupid. It does everything I don't like. Anyways, I gave it a 2. It's probably a 1.
Yeah.
I hate this card.
Yeah. Stupid.
Get it
Great
out of
art,
my
though.
face. Yeah, great art. What a waste. All right, let's move on. Let's get this card out of my mind. Next up, we have Standing Order. This card almost doesn't look like it belongs because of how strong it is relative to the other cards. But this is a 0 cost, 4 attack, 3 block. When this attack or defends, you may bottom your arsenal and get +2 attack and defense. This card's crazy. I gave it a 4. It's very close to a 5.
Yeah. I gave it 4.5.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's super good. Super good. Tenacity, generic attack. It's a yellow, and it's a 0 costed 3 blocker that attacks for 2. When this attacks, it gets +X power, where X is the number of defending cards on this combat chain. Not coming up in this set, so 1 star.
1 star. Yeah, that's fair. I gave it 2. It could happen. But
That's fair, I guess.
yeah, you might be right. It's not very good.
Yeah.
Crazy in CC though.
Oh, yeah.
Next we have Seduce Secrets. This is the last of our Majestics. 0 cost yellow instant. Look at the target hero's hand and the top card of their deck. If this was played from Arsenal, draw a card. I gave this a 2. It's probably a 1.5, but has some text because it draws a card for Kasai, and it gives you some knowledge. I don't know. It's a 1.5.
Yeah, I gave it a 1. It's just not going to come up that often in this format for it to be better than other Majestics that don't block at all.
Yeah, you're right. It's
All right. Into the good stuff. Down but not out. A 3 for 5 generic attack action that defends for 3. When this attacks a hero, if you have less health, control fewer equipment and tokens than your opponent, it gets +3 overpower, and when it hits, create an agility, might, and vigor token. I gave this 3.5. When you pull it off, it's absolutely insane, but until you can pull it off, it's just a 3 for 5 or a block 3.
Or block 3, yeah. I gave it 4. It's kind of like game warping, but
Yeah.
people have learned to play around it so hard that it's less impactful now.
Yeah.
But it still comes up. It comes up more than it should, even with people being aware of it, and it can be kind of game winning if it happens early enough. So
Totally.
I gave it 4.
Sweet.
All right, Wage Gold. This is
Boom.
a 3 for 7 2-block universal card, which means it's whatever class you are. And when this attacks a hero, you may wager a gold token with them. All right, Taylor, it's a 3 for 7 wage card. What do we think that I think about this?
4 stars.
4 stars, baby. We love it.
I gave it 3 stars. Blocks 2.
Yeah, but it wagers.
It does.
It's good for Olympia.
Reinforce the line. Reprint. Generic instant. Target defending attack action card gets +4 or +3 or +2 if it's the red, yellow, or blue. I gave this 2.5, but maybe it should be like 3.5. It's like your only real defense card, and there's a lot of attack actions.
I think the first copy in your deck is very good. I think that, so I gave it a 4, but it's not a card I want like more than one of.
Yeah, totally. That's fair. Yeah, I like that. One copy is a 4. 3.5.
Yeah.
I'll say it's 3.
The next card is another returning card from Monarch. This is Adrenaline Rush, 2 cost, 4 attack. But when you play this, if you have less life than an opposing hero, it gets +3. So it can be a 2 for 7 at best. I gave this 3 stars. It's like a totally fine role player that you get near the end of the pack. But I'm not sad if my deck doesn't have any.
Yeah, for that exact last statement, I give it 2 stars. It just feels a lot weaker in this set than it did in Monarch. You know?
Yeah, I would agree with that, actually.
Yeah. The new waifu performance bonus, generic attack action, red, it's free, and defense for 2, red attacks for 3. When this hits, create a gold token. And if this was played from Arsenal, it gets go again. Love the art on it. Pretty cool. I think it's only a 2.5 though. You know, I would rather have a different type of 3 damage in this game, but I do particularly like this in blue. A little 1 blue poker that comes out to give you a gold. Pretty good with go again. I like that.
Yeah, I put down 3, but I think I would agree that it's probably leans more to 2.5. But every so often it comes up and it's annoying.
Yeah, totally.
And don't let Victor hit you with this. 'Cause it's snatch for him. Okay, next up we have Rally the Rear Guard, another Monarch banger. So this is a 2 cost, 6 attack, 2 block, with an ability that says once per turn instant, discard a card. This gets +3. Activate this only while this is defending. This card is way better than it looks. This is basically a defense reaction against Warrior. It's good in every class, and I think that it's underdrafted. At least that was my experience. So I'm giving this 4 stars.
Wow. I was going to give it 2.5, but I could maybe bump it to 3. It just also felt weaker than it did in Monarch because you wanted this as a popper. It had that extra utility. You know what I mean? And it doesn't really have that. I guess it has Brute 6 synergy going on, especially at yellow for KO too. So maybe it does have that extra, but I'm going to stick with 2.5. That's where I'm going. Yeah.
I like this card a lot.
Awesome. Trade in, Uprising reprint, generic attack action. It's free. Red attacks for 3 and defense for 2. When this attacks, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. And if this was played from Arsenal, go again. Kind of a niche card. I give it 2 stars, even though it has some abilities like create a might with KO, intimidate with Rhinar, etc. It draws you a card, so it's like that easiest way to get those cards that are kind of awkward that have a bonus when you draw a card. But still, I don't want too many of these. Would rather have other cards. This card's fine. 2 stars.
Yeah, I give it 3. I think it's like a 2.5 to 3. I think that those like niche things that you bring up are actually like maybe more powerful than like you'd first think. Like getting the Intimidate for Rhinar, like it's 3 with an Intimidate that turns your claws on. So like it has a lot of synergy. Like I don't think that like you can have like the best Rhinar deck possible without like 1 or 2 red trade-ins.
I just thought of it as like, well, I could also then just like attack with that 6 powered attack I had instead of discarding it, and that's twice as much damage.
Yeah, but I think
2
action points
still.
are just so premium, and Intimidate is so like important. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Fair.
It turns your claws on.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Lunging Press. Just comes in blue, 0 cost attack reaction. You know it, you love it. It's from Crucible. Target attack action card gets +1. This card has caused a lot of stir. I'm not sure I understand. I'm giving it a 2 star. I don't really want it, but it has some value in the end game, I guess.
I gave it 2.5 because of its a reaction. That's a blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, not as much of a. Once we saw this was in the set, I thought it was going to be more crazy than it is, and it's still just like classic Lunging Press. Like I want it to be better than it is.
Totally. Like
Yeah.
it's probably most potent on like a concuss, but then that's still like a 3 card 7.
Yeah, which is
like
tough.
And if they like have the instant that prevents damage, or they have the reinforced, then like, oof, that's not
And
good.
if you have to keep basic arsenal one of them and keep 2 of those cards, and
You have to
like
kind of show them what's going on.
yeah, totally. You're like, I just took 4 damage to do this play, or 5 or
Yeah.
more or whatever. So anyway, money where your mouth is. My least favorite card to say, but one of the best cards I think in the set, especially one of the generics. It is a non-attack action and costs 1, defense for 2. Your next attack this turn gets +3, and you may wager a gold token, and it has go again. I gave this 3 stars. Red in particular.
I also gave this 3 stars. It's a little glue piece.
Yeah, totally. I think more so than maybe the other generics, but thus it's higher rating for me.
Yep, and say it with me. It's good in Olympia. All right, final 2.
Here we
We
go.
have starting stake. This is a yellow 0 cost action. If you control no gold tokens, create a gold token. Blocks 3. This is one of those ones that's like weirdly easy to like play when you already have a gold. So don't do that. But it's blocks 3. It's a non-attack. It's not a card I'm excited about, but I play it when I have it most of the time because it blocks 3. So I'll give it 3 stars.
Wow, that's a high value card that doesn't have go again. I gave it 1 star.
Yeah, but I guess I'm noticing a theme of like I really value blocking Centauri Saber quite
You do.
highly,
You love that.
which I think matters a lot.
It might.
Like I don't think I want this in Brute, but I think in Warrior and Guardian, I'm like totally happy.
Oh, yellows are so bad in Guardian. No way. Would hate this.
Like, most of your Guardian cards block 2. So this is
Totally.
like up in your I don't know. It's
I don't
it's
know.
not exciting. It's not exciting, but it's fine.
It's like a 3.5 sealed card, but in draft it's like 1 star.
Okay, I can maybe get behind that. But
Okay, sweet.
I don't know. It's a 3 block. A 2 star. 2 star. You walked me down to 2.
Okay, 2, fine. Final card, we've done it. Test of Strength, generic block, defense for 4. When this defends, clash, and then you get a gold token. Wow, so good. Should be Test of Golden Strength. 4 stars.
Yeah, it's easy 4. If
Eesh.
you're Victor, it's a 5.
It's a banger.
It's nuts. It's super.
So
Arguably
good.
too good.
So good. All right, Zayne, we did it in basically 2 hours. That must be some sort of record.
Yeah. We'll have to mark that down for next time. But
Totally. It can be done, folks. Well, we'll let you all go. Hopefully you found some value out of our set review here and enjoyed looking at our faces as my hair gets increasingly more wild as we go through all 200 million cards, etc. But I always like doing this because I think it's such a good exercise. It helps me familiarize myself with the set, and I like to see how my opinions change over this season of getting to draft it and stuff. So yeah,
totally. If you're in Discord with us, tell us the card that we're most wrong about.
Yeah,
that's always like the most interesting thing to like see big variances on cards.
I actually think set reviews are for a very niche audience, and sometimes those people are so niche they don't comment. So, but please do.
Which is fine. It is what it is. It's a long form piece of media. There's multiple people who do it. We totally get it, but it's a good way to learn the set and see how other people view cards, because when you're drafting at PT or just at the shop, you like everyone's going to value cards differently, and if you hear 3 people set reviews and they all value cards differently, you can kind of get a feel for where people are at with different cards.
Totally. Draft more so is a thinking person's game than it is like a different type of person's game. I don't know. Or it's just like, I have all of this information. Now I get to use it. That's what draft feels like. Like I've mass memorized 200 cards and their values. I have randomly assigned them, and the values 3 other people have assigned them. Now I'm ready to play.
Yeah. On the podcast that Yuki and Jay do on the Bobble, they talked about how like limited is the most like feeling like a kid style of like card games, where it's like you're getting excited about these like bad cards. Like I'm like thrilled when I get like a red Wage Agility, which is like this card that's costs 2 cents and nobody cares about it. But like when I like wheel like my blue Lead with Heart, I'm like stoked. And like that's such a like fun, unique thing about limited, that it's like just so like scrappy, and I don't know, makes you get into the weeds a bit. So I really enjoy it. I've yet to prove that I can do it at the highest level at Pro Tour, but we'll
it's
get
all right
there.
This is your set, baby.
Hope so.
You're gonna do great. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Zayne. I look forward to having you on the podcast very regularly now.
Yeah, excited to be on the team.
Hell yeah. All right. Good night, everybody, or good day, or good afternoon. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Thanks for editing this, Colin. Love you.